May 7th, Charlie Plys.
Welcome to 365 Christian Men, where every day we aim to inspire and encourage with real-life stories about men.
On this date in 2016, Charlie started a new job at a golf course, and that job provides the setting for today's story.
You don't always need the right answer. Sometimes you just need to listen. At the golf course in Minnesota one Monday afternoon, Charlie and his coworker Thomas were bartending. Generally speaking, bartenders can be good listeners, and Charlie was exceptional. He listened with purpose. Man, I'm done with church. I'm done with God. Charlie heard Thomas saying this to the coworkers around him. This line of conversation caught Charlie's ear. He too had been hurt by the church, a church he had been deeply involved with for many years, even employed at, and the sting still lingered. Charlie knew what it was like to not be heard, and he also knew what it was like for someone to really listen to him and to value what he had to say. He had experienced both sides of this scenario and learned a valuable lesson. Men are not God. God was different from man. God was good. So you're done with God forever, huh? Charlie wiped the counter. How's that working out for you? Thomas had gone through addiction and overcome it. He was a winner in a huge battle, but today he felt hurt. I'm done, he said. I don't need to be looked down on when I go to church because of what I've been through. I don't need to be preached at and told how bad I am. I already know that. You're right, Charlie said. These ideas were familiar to Charlie. He said, what you need is hope. What Thomas also needed was a listening ear. He needed someone to help him see that man does not equal God. Over the next many weeks, Charlie and Thomas talked a lot. Charlie soon discovered that Thomas's 2 adult kids were also struggling, even getting into the same tough lifestyle Thomas had just escaped. Charlie asked Thomas, do you want your kids to be done with God too, like you are? If they're struggling like you say they are, you might want to encourage them to move toward Him, not away from Him. Thomas shrugged. Obviously, he was unsure if he could trust God or not. What are your kids' names? Charlie asked. If it's okay, I'd like to write down their names and pray for them. Thomas looked surprised. You'd do that? I would, Charlie said, and he did. Charlie wrote their names on a sticky note and put them near his computer. And every time he looked at them, he said a few simple prayers over Thomas's kids every single day. Over time, Thomas talked. Charlie listened and kept reminding Thomas that Jesus can be a true friend, someone he can trust, and someone who won't look down on him because of the things he had done in the past. And over time, Thomas changed. He went from giving up on God and church to being willing to give them both another try. Within a year of their first conversation, Thomas got a new job and moved away. But he left with a willingness to try again with God. He even said that after his move, he was going to find a new church. Psalm chapter 18, verse 30 says, God's way is perfect. All the Lord's promises prove true. He is a shield for all who look to Him for protection. Have you ever been allowed to be a listener for someone who needed to talk? You don't always need the right answer. Sometimes you just need to listen.
Thank you for listening to today's story. Every day of the year, our hope is to inspire you with real-life stories of faithful men who have gone before us. Today's story was about a man who isn't as well known as some, but his story proves that God uses ordinary men in many different ways to accomplish His purposes. Is there a man whose story has inspired you, but most people have never heard his story? We would like to hear his story and maybe include him in 365 Christian Men. Please visit our website to share the story of a man who has inspired you, and join us tomorrow at 365christianmen.com.